At 6:01 p.m., this regular meeting of the Judson Board of Trustees is called to order. I'm very pleased that you have taken time to join us this evening. As the Judson Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals and policies and oversee the management of the district. We are responsible for approving budgets, contracts, personal appointments, and to listen to reports from the superintendent. We are not here to make administrative or management decisions pertaining to the daily operations of the district. This is the responsibility of the superintendent. In compliance with the State Government Code on Open Meetings, tonight's agenda has been appropriately posted. This is a meeting in the public, not a meeting of the public. As our guests, you are welcome to observe and listen. These proceedings are being video and audio recorded and will become part of the Judson's permanent legal record. In order that the tape adequately reflects these proceedings, please silence your mobile devices and refrain from talking while others are speaking. Since it is legally mandated that these proceedings are recorded accurately, I may have to ask for order periodically should I notice that disruptions are interfering with our recording capabilities. Once again, I extend to each of you a sincere welcome from the entire school board. Thank you for your interest in Judson ISD. We have established a quorum, and I will call roll. But at this time, board members, would you please, wait a minute. Check in. And we do have a quorum. We have established a quorum. To my immediate left is Dr. Ball.
Hello. Thank you for joining us.
At this time, would you please stand for the invocation?
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come today before you to do goodwill for our students and for our community. I ask you to guide us and to keep us all safe before we start our holiday weekend. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I'd like to introduce to you our pledge leader for this evening. She is a late addition here, and Abigail, if you would come on up to the front here, we've got a microphone for you. Hopefully, it's set to your height here. This is Abigail Balderas, and she is going to help us lead the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flags.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Please. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. Let's give Abigail a nice hand for a great job. She only knew to do that like 2 minutes ago, so she did an outstanding job. By the way, her mother is Miss Sharon Balderas. She's the principal over at Park Village Elementary School. I'd like to recognize our color guard for this evening as well, coming from Wagner High School, Junior ROTC, Cadet Captain Hunter Hawkins, Cadet Major Decivity Olaka, Cadet Sergeant First Class Sienna Rios, and Cadet Captain Johnny Brown. All right, our first recognition comes from Judson Early College Academy. Being a National Merit Finalist is a great honor, and many school districts around the state and country go years without seeing one in their classrooms. Being a finalist is a fraction of the 1.6 million who start the process. Please congratulate National Merit Finalist JECA student Noah Zuckerman. Just to tell you a little bit about Noah, he enjoys languages and the sciences and spending time with his family. At last count, Noah was considering North Texas as his college of choice. National Merit Scholars will be determined in May. Our next recognition comes from Judson High School. You know, many times high school wrestling doesn't get the attention that some of the other sports attract, but it indeed is a test of quickness, stamina, and strategy. 2 Judson Rockets qualified for the state wrestling tournament where they did very well. Isaiah ended up ranked number 16th in the state and Luis number 10th. Please congratulate Luis Rodriguez and Isaiah Duger. And their coach, as well as Coach Paul Gunther. And will the parents of these students, can you raise your hand or, there we go. Now, our next recognition comes from Judson High School. Our JISD counselors do an incredible job every single day, from advising students on academic pathways and graduation plans to the everyday issues of family and school. One of our longtime counselors at Judson High School was recently recognized for her contributions to the school counseling profession. She was selected as Texas semifinalist for Counselor of the Year. Please congratulate Miss Joanne Cruz. Our next recognition comes from Judson High School. Taking the challenge of an AP exam is a test that many students are encouraged to take because it's a great way to attract colleges and universities to them. Last May, a Judson High School student achieved something that few accomplish. This student was one of 193 out of more than 65,000 to make a perfect score on an AP exam. In this case, it was the AP Computer Science exam. So congratulate Cameron White and his teacher, John Alamo. And it's the parents. Can you? Are you the parent? This is his mom right here. All right, our next recognition is from Wagner High School. You know, the Thunderbird boys basketball team went on quite a roll this past year, coming within one win of a state UIL 5A basketball championship. They ended the season with a record of 34-6. Let me introduce to you the players. Eddie Fernandez, Jalen Jackson, Isaiah Kennedy, Jason Jackson, Brian Bigley, LJ Butler, Kajon Thornton, Earl Levons, Journey Phillips, Donnie Harris, Karan Glasgow, Aaron McKeithen Jr., Jarrell Brown, Joshua Cobbs, Isaiah Lide, and DeMarcus Hendricks. Now the coaches include Brent Hildebrand, Timothy Jones, and of course the Express News Coach of the Year, Rodney Clark. Now, as they're taking the picture, I want to also let you know, 2 players made the Express News Super Team, the All-State Tournament Team, UIL All-State Team, and the TABC All-Region Team. They are Journey Phillips and Jalen Jackson. Can you raise your hands, guys? Okay. And Jalen was selected as the Express News Player of the Year. It's hard to be seen behind basketball players, you know. And will their families, will they stand or raise your hand to be recognized? Anyone else? Yep, that's it. Thank you very much. You know, experience usually helps when you get into competitions, but not always. This group of students in the Judson High School Health Science Radiology program went to the Regional Skills USA competition for the very first time ever, and 7 qualified for the state level. That team is made up of Jalen Duran, Marissa Avila, Richard Lewis, Jonathan Ramirez, Rosa Rojas, Roland Wilburn, Marissa Rodriguez, and their teacher is Denise Aguilar. And will their families stand or wave to be recognized, please? I just need to ask, is the communities in schools, are they here? Okay, all right, great, thank you. All right, our next recognition is a partnership between Judson ISD and the national organization Communities in Schools. This organization helps empower at-risk students to stay in school and on a path for success. Communities in Schools San Antonio has been awarded a competitive grant worth $541,153. And here to say a few words about this partnership is Communities in Schools CEO Jessica Weaver.
I just want to start by saying thank you for trusting us to be a partner with your students and being able to bring our mission in surrounding students with a community of support like you do every day in helping them to be successful in school and in life. So I think our partnership started pretty great. We started together with going after a competitive grant, and out of 25 applicants, we were one of 14 selected to be able to expand our services throughout the community. And so I think we started in a spirit of competition that you just awarded. I think we started pretty well. And I just really want to say thank you. Thank you to Dr. Ball and her team. We have been meeting. We have been getting to know one another, building relationships, meeting other campuses where we have CIS just to learn so that we are ready and willing to start the beginning of the school year when all the teachers began to really offer additional support. And so I just want to say that we are here ready to support Judson, and we're proud to be part of the community now. Oh. And in the spirit of Fiesta, I do have a Fiesta medal for each of you.
And our last recognition comes from the Judson ISD Communications Department. The Texas School Public Relations Association gathers annually in an effort to provide training for communication professionals to improve how they tell the Texas public education story. At that conference in February, the JISD Communications Department was awarded a number of top awards for such district projects as photos, videos, publications, flyers, and even logo generation. JISD was awarded 9 gold medals, 11 silver medals, and 1 bronze, but it was also picked for a best in category. That's the overall category winner in video news and information production. The department is comprised of multimedia specialist David Rhodes, business partnerships and social media coordinator, and Jeff Director Lexi Greathouse, and myself, Director Steve Linscomb.
There you go. Technology.
This time is provided for citizens to address the board on issues or concerns. A person may speak one time for a period of 3 minutes. Presentations shall be informative only. No board action will be taken. A complaint or charge against any officer or employee of the district is not allowed in open session. Complaints and concerns should first be addressed by campus and/or district administration. If your topic involves a personal matter, a student matter, or if you contend that your legal rights have been violated or board policy not followed, we have specific grievance procedures, DGBA legal and local, for these matters, and now is not the appropriate time to discuss these matters. Also, as a reminder, you are not allowed to refer to any individual by name. We respectfully ask that you refrain from making personal attacks or rude or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous. The presiding officer shall determine whether a person who wishes to address the board has attempted to solve a matter administratively. If not, the person shall be directed to the appropriate policy to seek resolution before bringing the matter to the board at a subsequent meeting. Citizens wishing to receive a response from concerns presented to the board must provide written documentation. The board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. We have Ms. Pamela Thompson.
Good evening. My name is Pamela Thompson, and I am the librarian at Veterans Memorial High School. But this evening, I speak as my second role as JISD's lead librarian, and in honor of all of our JISD librarians here tonight. As you know, during the month of April, we've been celebrating School Library Month. Many of my fellow librarians and I have been showered with gifts of love from students, staff, and families we serve. And tonight, I've come to talk about Love, written by Matt De La Pena and illustrated by Laureen Long. It begins, "In the beginning there is light and two wide-eyed figures standing near the foot of your bed, and the sound of their voices is love," begins this lyrical poem about the many places we find love and the many times we may not. Woven into this story is the power of love to redeem us when people fail us. Matt De La Pena wrote this book as a tribute for his baby daughter who lives in our modern, uncertain times. He desperately wanted to tell her that hope is always possible. When all things pass away, there will always be people who love you. In JISD, we're proud to say that an important one of those people in your school is the school librarian. School librarians serve a variety of vital roles on their campuses. We offer embedded professional development at the point of need. We push teachers to think differently when we collaboratively plan and deliver instruction together. We provide quality resources and important technological expertise to help our teachers, administrators, and students. And sometimes, more and more these days, we provide a safe space to let kids know that everything is going to be okay, that they are loved and seen and full of potential. Without the support of our JISD board members, our superintendent, Dr. Ball, our administrator liaison, Dr. Cantu, we would be unable to do the full spectrum that we do. Thank you for your support and honoring us during National School Library Month. Our hope for you is for all JISD students, staff, and families we serve daily, is to know that you are loved. As Matt De La Pena writes, "It won't be luck you leave with, because you'll have love." Tonight, we, the librarians of Judson ISD, leave each of you with your own copy of Love and invite you to come visit with our JISD readers and share the love. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson, so much. Thank you. At this time, we are now down to item 4, consideration of consent items. I will read each, and if anyone has one to pull, just let me know. Item 4A, consider and take action regarding approving minutes from the special board meeting held on March the 7th and minutes from the regular board meeting held on March the 21st, 2019. B, consider and take action regarding approving monthly financial information as of February the 28th, 2019, and March the 31st, 2019. C, consider and take action regarding approving cash investment report for all funds as of March the 31st, 2019. D, consider and take action regarding approving expenditures equal to or greater than $50,000. E, consider and take possible action regarding approving amendments to the budget for the 2019 fiscal year. F, consider and take action regarding approving a board resolution to extend the bank depository contract with J.P. Morgan Chase Bank through June the 30th, 2021. G, consider and take action regarding approving the ranking of the engineering firms for services related to the testing and balancing phase of the construction at Kirby Middle School. H, consider and take action regarding approving a resolution for a participation agreement with the Education Service Center Region 11 Multi-Regional Purchasing Cooperative. I, consider and take action regarding approving a resolution for an interlocal agreement with Education Services Center Region 19 Allied States Cooperative. J, consider and take action regarding approving summer work hours for 2019.
Pull.
K, consider and take action regarding approving a project proposal for 2 summer enrichment programs, Camp Invention for elementary and Invention Project for middle school students.
Pull.
L, consider and take action regarding approving a memorandum of understanding for the 2019-2020 school year with the Parent-Child Incorporated, PCI, of San Antonio and Bexar County and the Judson Independent School District. M, consider and take action regarding approving the instructional materials allotment, IMA, and TEACS certification for 2019-2020 school year. N, consider and take action regarding approving the proclamation for the 2019 ELAR, SLAR, K-8 instructional materials. Pull. Item O, consider and take action regarding approving entering a shared services agreement, SSA, with San Antonio ISD Regional Day School Program for the Deaf, RDSPD. P, consider and take action regarding approving JISD partnership with the P16 Plus Council of Greater Bexar County, DBAUP partnership, My Brother's Keeper, San Antonio. Q, consider and take action regarding approving renewal for the College Connection Program Agreement by and between Judson ISD and Alamo Community College District for the 2019-2020 and the 2020-2021 school year. Wow, say that 3 times fast. R, consider and take action regarding approving a proclamation to declare May 3rd, 2019 as School Lunch Hero Day. S, consider and take action regarding approving the second reading of Policy Update 112 affecting local policies. 1, BGA local, 2, CCG local, 3, CCGA local, 4, CH local, 5, CQ local, 6, CV local, 7, DCB local, 8, DH local, 9, DIA local, 10, FMA local, 11, FNG local, 12, GF local, 13, GKA local, 14, GKB local. T, consider and take action regarding approving the second reading of local district updates. 1, DEC local, 2, DED local, 3, EHBC local, 4, EHBC local.
Pull.
Is T pull, yes. We are now going to consider and vote for items 4A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, LMOPQRS. Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Macias and seconded by Mr. LaFoille. Okay, motion passes. We will start with item 4J, consider and take action regarding approving summer work hours 2019. Mr. Macias?
Motion.
I'm sorry, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Macias?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Just to be clear, there's a discussion item later on the agenda. This item will address that discussion item, so it can be removed from the agenda. My question in terms of this summer hours, I did notice that July 4th is also being considered for holiday pay, and I wanted to kind of get a cost on what that might look like if we did decide to move forward with this. What is the cost for that?
Yep. I don't believe there's a cost, but I'm going to ask Mr. Atkins to talk a little bit more about this.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. There's no additional cost. It's just people would not work that day. So there's no increase in the cost of salaries or anything.
And the individual's not working that day, what will we pay out in vacation time for that day, our holiday pay?
It would just be their same salary.
Well, I mean, each day has a value, right?
Correct.
So what is that value for that day? So if you have 300 employees that would have worked that day, I wanted to know what the dollar figure was in terms of what that would cost.
It would only be the ones that typically would have worked that day, which would be our 226 and professional employees. And I mean, I really don't have a good number for you, but I can get that for you.
And just like I do ask a lot, and I'm like Mr. LaFoille, and we'll ask for how much these things are, just because we've not paid July 4th off before, right? Am I correct?
I just want to make it clear that an employee will not receive additional salary because of this being a holiday. So I don't know if maybe there's some confusion with the word paid holiday, but no employee will be receiving any additional increase in their pay. Now you are allowed to take that day as a holiday, like we do a Christmas holiday or a Thanksgiving holiday, that we don't get paid for those holidays.
And so there won't be anything. And the way I'm looking at it, when we put our calendar together, we initiate all the holidays that we'll pay out. So there's compensation that's added to every holiday. So in this case, you're saying that there's not going to be an adverse effect in any way, shape, or form for us.
Just to, again, reiterate, it's like any 226 employee, the ones that sit around this table right here, they won't receive any additional money with this being a paid holiday. We now will be able to have that as a holiday without using one of our days. I guess it's just like Christmas is the best way for me to explain it, just like Christmas.
Okay.
We don't,
Okay, I understand that. All right, and that was sort of where my question was in terms of that. But the other reason I had a discussion item, and as I mentioned, they were related, was that we were restructuring pay dates, I think, I understand, and this is part of that. And we've addressed, am I wrong? Okay, have we addressed those constituencies that would be impacted to?
yeah, these are two totally separate.
Totally different?
But
Okay.
we will talk about those in the next item, or not the next one, but when you bring that one up.
Okay, so, we may have to leave that discussion item for later anyway. All right, I'm fine, I'm done, thank you.
All right, at this time, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Canoy.
I'm correct that we never give holiday pay unless it's, for example, like overtime for our police employees or someone else. Holiday pay is not a thing. So when we build our calendar, we build in holidays, and nobody works and nobody gets paid. Is that correct?
Only for, that's correct for 226 and 2 professional people. But for our 260 people, our auxiliary people, they do get paid holidays. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Board, at this time, you may proceed to vote. Motion passes. Item K, consider and take action regarding approving a special proposal for 2 summer enrichment programs, Camp Invention for elementary and Invention Project for middle school students. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Ms. Eaton and seconded by Mr. Macias. Was this pulled by Ms. Eaton?
Yes, ma'am.
Go right ahead.
My question was, Dr. Ball, the cost, is this the correct cost? We're paying for the license?
Yes,
A
ma'am.
one-time?
We are paying for this opportunity to be able to offer it to our students, yes.
Okay, and it's a one-time
Yes.
licensing? How, is it recurring?
If we decide to do this again, yes.
Will we have to pay for the license each time, or it just, we pay this year and,
I do believe it'll be each year. That's correct, each year.
okay. And this is the price for the licensing and what it's gonna cost for staff, or just the licensing?
This is just for the licensing.
Okay, okay.
If there are no, go right ahead, Mr.
sorry.
Macias.
No, I'm really excited to see this program. I did notice, and I just wanted to confirm too, the amount of students that would be impacted by this. I see on page 126, 120, 90, and 120. Are those, is that the scope of students that will be impacted for the whole program?
Yep, it should be a total about 330 students. I can find that on the page.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
that's what it comes out to.
Okay.
And this camp intervention, we're using title money, right, for this project?
Correct.
Title
And we'll have a more comprehensive budget discussion on title later in May, right, earlier in May?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we will continue to look at programs and continue to enhance things for the summer.
And that was my next question. How did you know I was going to ask that, Dr. Ball? You were good. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Anyone else? Go right ahead, Mr. LaFoille.
I know it, mate.
Oh, there it goes. Well, the only concern I have with this is Park Village. Park Village is going to have construction on there. Are we going to be able to make use of the campus with all the construction going on?
Yes. The campuses, we've been looking at the campuses, and the ones that were selected, we're going to be able to work it out.
Even with all the construction?
Yes, sir. It's really important to us that we still provide something to that community. So we want to we'll find a way to work all around everything that's going on.
Okay,
We don't want to
thank you
leave them
very
out.
much for that.
Sure.
Are there any other questions? If not, then you can proceed to vote. Motion passes. We'll move on to item N. Consider and take action regarding approving the Proclamation 2019 ELAR, SLAR K through 8 instructional materials.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Canoyer, seconded by Mr. LaFoille, and I pulled that one. Let's see, what page is that, 151? Yes, I pulled this item because what I wanted to do was to be able to recognize the, Ms. Davis and your committee that put this together. I believe that they are here. Ms. Bellinger?
Bellinger led the committee for the proclamation, and all of the teachers involved represented each campus.
Ms. Bellinger, would you please stand, and all the teachers? Thank you very much for what you do. Thank you. Is there any other discussion? You may proceed to vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item T, consider and take action regarding approving the second reading of local district updates. Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Macias and seconded by Mr. LaFoille. This was yours, Mr. Macias?
Yeah, just one quick question, Dr. Ball. These local policies, I know we're in the second reading, but I think I may have failed to ask last, they're all TASB recommendations?
So we use TASB recommendations as a guide, and then we were able to put in some things that we might have wanted specifically for our district.
Okay, so the TASB recommendations were the foundation for the movement.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
If there are no other questions, you may proceed to vote. Okay, motion carries. Item 5, discussion, consideration of action items. 5A, consider and take possible action regarding the I'm sorry. There was a proclamation. I'd like to go back. There was a proclamation. Yes, item R. Excuse me, I was going to read the proclamation for item R, which is the School Lunch Heroes Day on May the 3rd. Whereas Judson ISD recognizes the important role that child nutrition plays in the academic preparedness and performance of students in the classroom, May 3rd, 2019, has been designated as District School Lunch Hero Day by the Judson Independent School District Board of Trustees. And whereas child nutrition staff are responsible for the planning, preparing, and serving of the most health-conscious meal options for the students of Judson ISD while satisfying state and federal guidelines. And whereas child nutrition staff are partners within our schools who take pride in ensuring that our students are provided with the necessary sustenance to support active and engaged learners. Our school nutrition staff cares about the meals that are prepared, the organization of campus cafeterias, and most importantly, the nourishment of Judson ISD students. They are always there to reach out a helping hand. Their hard work and their dedication is appreciated and noticed by the staff, parents, and students alike. And whereas it is the district's commitment that every child nutrition staff is shown appreciation and thanks for all that they do for our district and students in an effort to work together to support student learning, meaningfully involved in the preparation of the learning environment, and know that their jobs really matter. Now, I, therefore, Ms. Renee Pichelle, Board Vice President of Judson ISD, do hereby proclaim May 3rd, 2019 as School Lunch Hero Day in Judson Independent School District, and I urge all to participate with the recognition of the child nutrition staff within this district and to support and participate in creative ways to thank the child nutrition staff at your campuses. Thank you very much. All right, now we will move on to item 5A. Consider and take possible action regarding the approval of the contract renewal lists for, oh, is this closed session? I'm sorry, okay. Item B, consider and take possible action regarding changing the June 2019 board meeting to June the 27th, 2019. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. LaFoille. Second. Seconded by Ms. Canoyer. Dr. Ball?
Yes, ma'am. The school district has been very blessed to be able to receive a grant in the sum of $120,000 from the dairy farmers. So the dairy farmers had asked me to go to their board meeting and share with them how we have used the funding, how other schools, districts could possibly use the funding. And it happened to fall on the same night as our board meeting. But also this week, we got the wonderful news that we are part of the Holsworth Center. So I have to decline this opportunity because it is also our first training with the Holsworth Center. So I still, though, need to ask the board if you would please consider moving the board meeting, not because I'm going to go to meet with the dairy farmers, but because we are going to have our first Holsworth session. Me and 5 district individuals, and the 5 district individuals are Dr. Ganthu, Ms. Davis, Dr. Fields, Mr. Garcia, and that's who's going. At this time, the way it works is they only have the central office staff. Later on, they do bring in the campus administrators, and then there is a little small part for the board.
Is there any discussion? Any other discussion? Go right ahead.
I already have plans to be out of town on June 27th, so I cannot make it to that meeting, but I support moving it to accommodate a very important opportunity.
Anyone else? Then let us proceed to vote. Push it hard. All right, motion passes. Bring back some good training, Dr. Ball. Item C will also be closed session. We will move on to item 6, discussion items, Superintendent Report. Dr. Ball?
Yes, everybody received a construction update. I don't know if there's any questions, but Dr. Fields would answer those, but everybody got the report.
Are there any questions? None. 6B, Judson Education Foundation 2019 first quarter update. Dr. Ball?
Yes, I know that Ms. Greathouse Lexi has a report, right? Yep, there she is.
Good evening, everyone. I have included my report in your board packages. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me, or there is one change and update on there. In our events, we are holding our senior citizens prom on June 8th. So everyone is welcome to attend, and it's going to be at Woodlake Hills Middle School. Any questions?
That's it?
Yes. Oh.
Yes, please.
I just want to thank Ms. Greathouse for her hard work. I think the Jeff Gala was a wonderful event, and I hope everybody who went had a great time. We did something new this year, and that was a lot of fun. And we have upcoming for everybody who's not looking at board book right now. Our next event is our football camp that we'll put on for our students. And then we have our golf tournament. So if you're interested in playing golf, you want to get with Ms. Greathouse and see if you can round up a team and be a sponsor. All those funds are going back for our student scholarships and for our teacher grants, and we'll be awarding those sometime in the near future as well.
Yes. In regards to the student scholarships and grants, this year I do want to say that we were able to give back a total of $108,000 to the district. And it is in efforts with everybody in our community and our sponsors and our vendors that we have here with the district. So we're really appreciative of everybody's efforts to give and support the foundation.
Thank you, Ms. Greathouse. Item C, discussion of revised pay schedule for biweekly pay period. Mr. Macias?
Yes, thank you. That was the earlier question regarding the need. I guess the first question I have is, explain why we're revising the pay schedule.
I'm going to ask Mr. Atkins to help me with this one.
Yes, ma'am. When we look at our pay schedule right now, we have a very inefficient timeline. The cutoff is on a Saturday at midnight. The department, sometimes with over 200 employees, has till the end of day Monday to make sure all the timesheets are correct. They get them to payroll on Tuesday, and by Wednesday noon, we have to have them at the bank, so they get paid on Thursday. And since 90% of our revenues this year are in payroll, that doesn't give us a lot of time to make sure that everything's totally accurate, that we're paying everybody. And so sometimes we do miss. And so best practice in most places when you would go, there would be at least a week in between the cutoff and the pay date. And so what we're trying to do with this is to build that week in by moving the pay date incrementally so that employees aren't missing a whole week at one time, but we're going to break it up into 3 steps. And so we did meet with all the employees that would be affected. We strategically put it at a time when the least amount of employees will be impacted because our bus drivers and our cafeteria personnel will be off. They won't be working at that time. And like I said, we did meet with them. I'm going to say that they all understand it. I'm going to say that may not be all happy about doing it, but they do understand why it has to be done.
So the impact for employees will be minimal. You said 2 days in terms of, is it a 3-step process? So does that mean 3 payrolls are going to be impacted?
Yes, sir. So what we'll do is typically the payroll, they would have gotten paid, the payday's on a Friday. We pay a day early, so they get their money on Thursday. The next payroll, instead of getting paid, the payday being on a Friday and get paid on Thursday, the payday's the following Tuesday, they get their money on Monday. Then the next the payday's a Thursday, they get their money on Wednesday. And then the next one, it's a Friday and it's back to Thursday, and then it's every 2 weeks after that.
So that one, the third one sounds like it'll be the most strenuous. And when you mentioned about at times that we miss, when you were explaining the process and the need for moving it, do we overpay employees? So is that what we're doing? When we say we miss, are we underpaying them?
Typically what happens is sometimes we don't get all the extra pay that they're due, like overtime and stuff. So we have to cut manual checks after that to make sure that they get their money. So we always go back and make sure that we pay them. But it would be much better if we could pay them correct the first time.
Are there any other instances where we're doing that?
Any other instances?
Where that's happening, where we're underpaying employees throughout the year? Or is this the only instance in which we've seen an issue with payroll?
It happens periodically with every payroll, because this is every payroll is this same timeline. If that makes, I don't know if I'm answering that correctly.
Are you asking like different groups, like teachers, paraprofessionals? Is that what you mean?
Well, I'm expecting that, we've been doing this a while, that we would have very minimal issues in terms of those that would receive overtime and so if you recognize a situation like this where we have potential misses, how much more are we potentially missing and has that been evaluated? That's why I've asked the question, where else could this be occurring and what are we going to do to determine if we're on target or not?
I can't say it never occurs, but it certainly doesn't happen regularly with the monthly. It would be very seldom that it happens with the monthly because you have an entire month that you have that time to check and to work things out. It's these quick payrolls that are the quick turnaround.
Yeah, we actually, for our monthly, because we pay on the 15th, the cutoff is the end of the month, so we have 2 weeks. So that's really time where our big payrolls are. It's the biweekly ones that we have the real short timeline.
Well, I guess if you could continue to look at that, I appreciate you caught this. I did receive a couple of calls from concerned employees regarding the timing. But if we're going to be better and more efficient with their payroll, but it does leave me thinking that there are more issues that we do need to make sure that we're not having, especially if this is something you said is pretty common and there's always something in payroll. So, all right, I'm done. Thank you.
Mr. LaFoyle?
The only problem I have with this whole thing is that some have brought this to me. I make my payments on this date. I set everything up on that date. Now, are they going to be paid by the same dates they were before, or they're going to be 3-4 days off?
The calendar that we'll give them will set the pay dates, but I think what they're referring to is when we insert that week,
Yeah.
if their bills are set up for a week before, then it has to happen. And so what we've talked about doing is actually giving them a letter from the district explaining that we're moving our pay dates so that they can work with their bills to try and make sure that they can get them moved. And most creditors will do that. They'll move that bill so that, you know, they want to get paid, so they'll move it a week so that it falls back when they get paid.
Because some of these people are living from paycheck to paycheck. And they miss a paycheck, here goes either they aren't getting groceries or they aren't getting their medications. And if that happens, I'll be back here.
It's actually, the first one's 2 days, the second one's 2 days, and then the third one's 1 day.
I'm sorry. My question was, because y'all keep saying week, you know, and that kind of threw me off, because I clearly heard him say, you know, 2 days, 1 day. And I just wanted to make sure that, and yes, I know that does affect a lot of people. So we're going, because it sounds like the last one actually is 1 day sooner than later, when you explained it.
The practice here is we set a pay date, and I think when we went to direct deposit, my understanding is, in order to try and encourage people to get direct deposit, if you're on direct deposit, you get paid the day before the pay date.
Right.
If you're not, then you get your check on the pay date. And so that's why, even though the pay date's on a Friday, we typically pay on Thursdays.
Mm. So in actuality, it's only affecting it 1 day, and no day.
No,
If
it'll be 2 business days the
Yeah.
first time, 2 business days the second time, and 1 business day the third time. And then we're back on schedule, and it's every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Every 2 weeks.
And you guys had meetings with them, and they understand, and,
Yes, ma'am. We met with the maintenance folks and the custodial supervisors, and then Mr. Yaklin and Sonia, the custodial supervisor, met with all the custodians. I met with the cafeteria and the transportation employees that would be affected, and I met with the custodians here at central office.
okay, thank you, sir.
Any other discussion? I had the same questions you all had, and it was because we know that the biweekly employees were going to be the ones that were affected. Mr. Atkins assured me, and as a matter of fact, this is the revised version, because the first version, they still were not real happy with that. And the main concern is that they are happy employees. So I think he's fixed it now so that everybody, for the majority, are satisfied. And thank you, Mr. Atkins. Mr. LaFoyle?
I say it's about a 50-50.
We'll see.
50%
If our
like it,
boardroom is full.
50% don't like it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if our boardroom
that
is
letter.
full after that happens.
Will they have to request that letter from you or are you
No,
just
sir,
gonna?
we'll work that up and make sure they have that in plenty of time. And that's one of the things why we're doing it so early, is we want them to have time to plan.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Item D, annual report for continuing education credits for school board members. Board, if you would, please turn to page 278. As presiding officer of the board, I am required to announce the name of each member who as of that member's anniversary of election or appointment to the board at the last regular board member meeting or the board before an election, the board members that have completed their required continuing education, have exceeded the required continuing education, and are deficient in meeting the required continuing education. There are 4 tiers or categories of board member continuing education. Tier 1 is the local district orientation, which is the basic legal orientation and legal update training. This year, since there are no first-year board members, there is no Tier 1 training to be announced. Tier 2 is the team building training with all board members and the superintendent. All board members have completed the required team building training. Tier 3 is the annual continuing education. All board members have completed the required Tier 3 annual continuing education requirements. And then there's Tier 4, evaluating student academic performance. All board members have completed the required training for Tier 4, training on evaluating student academic performance. All Judson ISD board members met or exceeded the required training for the 2018-2019 school year. And thank you for allowing me to read that. Item E, statement of impact from the following charter schools. Dr. Ball?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, below you can see the 3 schools that have sent us letters that they could consider moving into our area.
And just for clarity's sake, that would be the Lighthouse Charter School, Premier High Schools, and the KIPP Texas Public Schools. Item F, update on board advisory committees. Are there any board members that want to give an update from a committee meeting that they have attended?
You know I always have one.
Yes.
The Curriculum Advisory Committee had their last meeting, and it was a follow-up on making sure that we were all on the same page as to where we were with revising the curriculum, particularly knowing that we have new ELAR TEKS coming down the line. And I just want to say again, my appreciation to Ms. Davis and her team for helping to lead that committee, and all the wonderful employees and community members who come out and are part of that to give their input.
And I'd just like to say that the Finance Committee met with Mr. Atkins, and the report that he gave you tonight is what he gave us in our finance meeting.
And I attended the Strategic Planning Committee in early April, and we talked about the upcoming strategic planning process that will kick off in the summer.
That's good. Anybody else? All righty. Item G, update on board training, conferences, events, and consider future agenda item requests by board members. I'll start down here with Ms. Rodriguez. Do you have anything?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. We'll come back to you then, maybe. Mr. LaFoyle?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Macias? No. Ms. Canoyer?
Not at this time.
And Mr. Eaton?
Not at this
All
time.
right, thank you very much. At this time, it is 7:05. We will proceed into closed session discussing items 7A and B, C, D, E, F, and G. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, discussing personnel and the contract renewal list for campus and district office administrators for the 2019-2020 school year. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, discussing personnel, the personnel report, and updates including new hires, resignations, and administrative appointments. Item C, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, attorney consultation regarding legal issues related to superintendent contract. Item D, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, deliberation regarding superintendent contract. Item E, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, consider and discuss duties, roles, and responsibilities of a board member. F, pursuant Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with the district's attorney concerning legal issues and procedural issues related to termination of probationary contract employees. Item G, pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, consider and discuss recommendation to termination probationary contract employees. It is now 7:07.
thumbs up or thumbs down, so I'll know. Wait, the guys all left to go to the football game? I mean, the basketball game? Probably. Oh, yeah, yeah, yes. Where did Miss Betty go?
Well, I just, I wonder,
We are reconvening at 8:35. Do we have a quorum? We do have a quorum. Where is Suzanne? She has the language.
he was coming back with me. Oh, he's here.
I think she's talking to.
Let me go check.
She must be talking to Mr. Bernard.
No problem.
Kids don't get stole down here.
No, they don't. They stay in there.
These that stay in there?
Okay. All right, so it's now 8:36. Consider and take possible action regarding the contract renewal lists for campus and district office administrators for the 2019-2020 school year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Ms. Canoyer, seconded by Ms. Eaton, and you may proceed to vote. That item passes unanimously. Item B, consider and take action regarding personnel reports and updates, including new hires, resignations, and administrative appointments. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. LaFoille, seconded by Ms. Eaton. Let me clear, and you may proceed. Okay, that vote passes unanimously. Item C, consider and take possible action regarding the superintendent's contract. Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Eaton and seconded by Mr. LaFoille. I'll clear the board. Yes, sir.
Just for the record, we'll be voting on extending the superintendent's contract, but I just want the community to know that there will be no compensation or any added monetary gain for this if we do move forward with it. So I just wanted that to be clear. Thank you.
And you may proceed to vote. Okay, that vote passes unanimously. Consider and take action regarding the termination of probationary contract employees. Is there a motion?
I move to terminate the probationary contract of Jamie Milner at the end of the contract term to serve the best interest of the district, and further move to authorize the superintendent to provide written notice to Jamie Milner of this board action as required by law.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. LaFoille. You may proceed to vote. And that motion carries unanimously. The time is 8:39. This meeting is adjourned.